They could come from Skyward, but it's not a True, true.
Do you have stuff you're doing? Just, I'm gonna sit there and then when time comes, I gotta introduce her. I'll just move. Okay. Right, yeah, I'll just. Okay.
Welcome, everyone. It is 7 o'clock. I'm calling the Germantown School District Board of Education meeting to order. If you're able, stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. Thank you. Official meeting notification, Dr. Ritter.
Thank you. Public notice of all meetings has been given by communication from the superintendent's office to the public, to those news media who have requested such notices, and the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, Northwest Now, Express News, and West Bend Daily News. Public notice has also been posted in schools throughout the district and on the Germantown School District website.
Thank you. Item B, roll call.
Medved?
Yes.
Ewert? Here. Barney is here. Loth? Here. Pollock? Here. Higginbotham?
Here.
Brown?
Here. Thank you. Item 3, reports. Item A, District Administrator update, Dr. Ritter.
Do we have approval of the agenda?
Oh, I'm sorry. Approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda. Second.
Mr. Barney. Mr. Ewert with the second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. All right, now we'll go on to number 3. District Administrator update.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Ritter.
This evening I have a few things to touch upon as we get ready for our board meeting. We had our annual Stuff the Bus school supply donation to help families across the district when it comes to school supplies. We had generous donations that helped out 126 students, a total of 69 families within our community. And we'd like to thank some community partners, including Go Right Way, United Way, Backpack Coalition, Walmart, and all the community members that made it possible. This is something that happens every year. Our numbers were right up with where they've been the past few years. So again, great community outpouring and donation. This evening, you'll see on the board agenda, we have multiple presentations. We have many guests this evening, and I just wanted to note that the presentations that are outlined by Mr. Miziak, I'll be handling this evening as we welcome. He had a son last Thursday, and he's out on his family leave. We're very excited that Germantown High School was ranked number 33 in the state of Wisconsin in the U.S. News and World Report as a top high school in the state. We're in the top 10th percentile of public high schools in the state of Wisconsin. That also factors in school districts that have multiple high schools. Some may be charter underneath there with smaller populations and a more specific focus towards college readiness. Some of the indicators that got us to the point of being a top 10 a top 33, but a top 10 percentile high school are our composite ACT score, number of students participating and accelerating on AP tests, our graduate rate, and other college and career readiness indicators. So something we're proud of and will continue to strive to be in the top 5%. So, and then just a quick report out, as you guys know, last week was homecoming week. We had great spirit shown throughout the district. Starting on the 20th, Wednesday night, there was the Powder Puff game, and there were donations taken at the gate. A little over $1,300 was collected, 80% of that going to the St. Boniface Food and Pantry as a donation, and then the other 20% go to the senior class fund so that they can use that to give back in their senior gift. In case you're interested, Mr. Farron told me it was one of the closest games in history. The seniors beat the freshmen 6-0, so it was a very defensive battle. The 22nd was the PEP Assembly. I was in attendance, and it was loud and raucous and awesome to see our homecoming court announced, as well as each of the different grade levels showing their spirit and why they're the best class. And of course, the seniors won almost every competition. And then Friday night, we had our game against Nathan Hale early. So a couple of you, I believe, were there. I ran into you. We were down early, but ended up winning 44-28. It was a great showing for a homecoming game. And then the dance took place Saturday night. The report I got from Mr. Smith, who's in the audience, said, super easy night. The kids were awesome. That was his text message. So it's great to hear that it was a fun event and there was no issues. And then I'd like to thank the board, though we don't have a board meeting next week. Next week begins Wisconsin School Board Week, and it's showing our recognition as a school district to you as elected officials and to the community. Your jobs are, you all have jobs, and then on top of it, you're these elected officials that govern our school district. So on behalf of the administration and overall staff, thank you for what you do.
Thank you. Moving on to item B, WASB 2023 Business Honor Roll. Dr. Rutter.
Thank you. I'd ask Mr. Smith to come up. We've invited some guests this evening. A few weeks ago, Mr. Smith and I went into the WASB, Wisconsin School Board Association portal, and we, on behalf of the school district, honored 3 local businesses that we've built community partnerships with through programming and giving our kids opportunity to learn outside of the walls of our classrooms here. I want to first thank Mr. Smith. Ever since he came to Germantown, we came about the same time, he's been full force into understanding our community, the businesses that exist, and how we can get our kids ingrained in those businesses and work with those business partners, because again, Germantown has a vast variety of businesses to make learning real for kids so that they're ready when it comes to academic and career planning to dive into a future that they can already see themselves in. So we have 3 businesses this evening, Felons, JW Speaker Corporation, and Sterling Pharma Solutions. And so first we'd like to honor Felons. So if the members from Felons could come up by Mr. Smith. Felons has recently taken an active role in the educational experience of the students at Germantown High School. They have partnered with Tech Ed courses to provide feedback on student work and real-world projects to enhance student learning and engagement. CEO Andrew Barrero, I'm sorry if I said that wrong, is passionate about developing the next generation of talent. He has served as a guest speaker at the high school and has hosted multiple groups of students on tours of their facilities. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Smith.
Yep. Felons has always been a fantastic partner with us. They actually started to partner with the high school prior to even moving their business to the Germantown area. And so we've been able to host students on tours even as of last week. They've hosted staff members there and talked about the partnership. They're already working closely with some of our courses, and we continue to look to expand into other content areas to provide more hands-on experiences for our students. They have future job opportunities and have been very eager to get in front of our students, to host our students and continue to develop that partnership. We're very grateful for everything that you guys have done for the district and the high school.
Thank you. The next company we'd like to honor with this Business Honor Roll recognition is JW Speaker Corporation. JW Speaker continues to support both the Germantown students and staff in their continued pursuit of educational excellence. They provide hands-on learning opportunities for our students in multiple content areas, as well as students and staff work experience applications to areas of interest. Facilitated by Leslie Fee, who's here this evening, JW Speaker continues to enrich the lives of those in the Germantown School District. They have identified the large amount of talent that currently resides in Germantown and have made it a point to keep that talent in this community.
JW Speaker has been a longtime partner with the Germantown School District and the high school. They're always looking to help build upon the skills of our students and our staff, hosting staff for externships over summer, providing job opportunities for students, and getting in the classroom, both in content areas and our resource period to speak to students. Our students have grown so much because of the experience that JW Speaker has provided, and have really they've provided a lot of insight for a lot of our students to help figure out what they want to go into after they finish their high school and college careers. JW Speaker continues to look for ways to get involved, always actually reaching out to us even to find more opportunities to get in front of our students and to get our students out by them, even just having our students walk right over to the facility for tours and other opportunities. So again, we are very grateful for your partnership, and we look to continue to build on what we've done so far.
Thanks.
And Sterling Pharma Solutions. Sterling Pharma Solutions has partnered with the Germantown School District and provided learning opportunities and feedback to our district leadership team in Germantown School District. They continue to take an active role in the district by hosting facility tours and offering job opportunities to Germantown School District students. Mary Christensen has been instrumental in developing this partnership to foster continued growth for both students and staff in the Germantown School District.
So Sterling Pharma Solutions and Mary specifically have been incredible as partners with us. They have hosted the staff, provided insight into their leadership style, provided tours of the facility, and we finished off last year by talking about more opportunities that we had for students, and Mary wants to get students out there on tours. They have job opportunities for our students and have really worked to continue to develop this partnership. And we're grateful for everything that they've done, and we continue to build off of that and look to get as many students as possible exposed to everything that they have to offer so we can keep our students here in the community once they've finished their education.
Thank you. All three companies are listed on the Wisconsin Association of School Boards website as honorees to the 2023-2024 Business Honor Roll. So I don't know if the board has any comments for these
Yes,
great
thank
partners.
you. Well deserved to these companies. One of the things that I think makes Germantown as engaging and as successful as we are is because of the community, and the partnerships that we've developed with these local businesses as well is a huge part of why we're successful, getting those real life examples for our students. I think our students appreciate it, our teachers appreciate it, our staff really appreciate all that you're doing for us. It does make a big difference, and thank you.
I just want to thank everyone one more time. They've been very eager to get involved with us, and it's not a battle to get them here and to work with our students, and they've identified the large amount of talent in the district and in the high school, and they're doing everything they can to make sure that that talent stays local, and we continue to build off of that. So thank you, everyone.
Excellent. Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you so much. All right, moving on to item C, R&R Benefits Consultant Presentation. Mr. Nowak.
Thank you. We have with us this evening Michelle Fralke from R&R Insurance. She's a benefit consultant with them. Over the past several months, we've been exploring a possible change in our benefit consultant services. And, through the process, we are in a position this evening where we would be bringing forward a contract for R&R Insurance to serve us in that manner. Michelle is with us this evening to offer some insights into kind of the scope of their work and a little bit about the work ahead with us.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting R&R to be part of the RFP process and allowing me to share a little bit more about R&R Insurance Services tonight. Your administrative team, Mr. Barney, all invested a lot of time going through written proposals, interviews, contacting references. So I know that you have a motion coming up, but I appreciate the opportunity to share just a little more about R&R.
There you go.
So here we go. R&R Insurance is Wisconsin's largest family-owned independent insurance agency. And the reason we feel like that's very important is we have people living in Germantown. So R&R is not an agency that's owned by stockholders or shareholders. So it's not about making money for the shareholders. It's putting it back into the communities we serve. We're not owned by a private equity firm outside of the state of Wisconsin. We're part of Wisconsin. So that's a really important piece of who we are. We're also a current partner to the school district on the workers' compensation and property and liability insurance. And we also work with the the village of Germantown. So we're deeply embedded in the community. We have great experience in education, working with a lot of school districts. So Germantown wouldn't be our first rodeo. We have a lot of great experience with large districts, small districts, fully insured districts, self-funded districts. And that really lends itself because it's important. You guys are different. You have revenue limits and you have levies to worry about and you have goofy schedules of when you have to set a budget in the middle of a year, and we have experience with all of that. So I think that's an important piece to share about R&R. And there's a lot of things that we feel very strongly that really differentiate us from our analytics team. You'll hear the word team a lot from us because we work so well together. We have our wellness person who's integrated with our workers' compensation. So everything really works together so well. And it's because of our dedication to service. So we have a lot of people. While I would be a lead benefit consultant, I have a whole myriad of people that have expertise in specific areas to help me out. Because there might be something with compliance. Well, we have our compliance division. But we're very high touch, high service. I used to be a teacher, so I know the value of educating the staff to make sure that they understand how their benefits work. You guys are investing $5 to $6 million in employee benefits. It's really important that people know how to use their benefits efficiently and effectively to save money for themselves, but also the district as a whole. So thank you again for the opportunity, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to share anything else you need to know.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item D, seclusion and restraint report. Mrs. Callen.
Yeah, so every year by October 1st, we have to present to the school board how many incidents of seclusion or restraint at each school occurred during the prior school year. So these were the numbers for the 2022-23 school year. And then that same report needs to also be shared with DPI by December 1st. There are, this isn't taken lightly. This is very hard for, I think, for teachers, administrators, and staff to have to do this with students. So we do work with CPI, which is a Crisis Prevention Institute, that works with our staff and trains certain staff, or a team of staff members at each school. They focus on de-escalation strategies. They focus on when we do have to restrain, how to keep staff safe as well as students. So we have a team of teachers being trained this week, Friday, during the professional development days, and we'll continue the training throughout the year. A lot of times you'll see just some of the patterns. Unfortunately, many times it is between 1 and 3 students that have most incidents. There are strategies that we use, especially after the second incident of either seclusion or restraint, we do meet with the team. We have to do a behavior intervention plan. We also meet after every report. The whole team meets. They talk about strategies to work on to prevent this from happening again. There is a report too that is also shared with the parents. So it's just our way of being transparent with the families to know that we are continuing to work on it, we are continuing to be proactive and thinking about preventing these incidents in the future.
Thank you. Any comments, questions? Okay, thank you so much. Moving on to item E, reading pilot update. Dr. Reuter.
Thank you. Mr. Miziak has shared with you a update for the full board versus going to the Teaching and Learning Committee. Just to give an overview, is now we're almost a month into the school year of where we're at with our multiple reading pilots taking place at the K-5 level with 3 different resources. So you can see in the report the pilot objectives were outlined. Those were vetted thoroughly through our Teaching and Learning Committee and then brought to the full board for approval of the set pilots. And then you can see in August and September how it's laid out where our key objectives are and where we're at. We're utilizing not only the professional development that took place for our teachers piloting in August, but we're also looking at standardized measures as the MAP assessment was taken by all of our students in K through 8 this year. Actually 1-8, kindergartners don't take it until mid-year. That data then is, we're going to look at that when the pilot ends for the mid-year assessment to measure growth from a standardized approach when it comes to foundational reading skills as one of our indicators of success, which is a different approach than the district's taken in the past. So there's scheduled time actually this Friday. Ms. Callan just alluded to that there will be time for some of our staff to go through some CPI training. Our pilot teachers have additional time for professional development. I know that last week was heavy for Mr. Miziak, meeting with elementary principals and doing walkthroughs in the classrooms to actually visually see what the kids are doing, what they're learning, and how the teachers are reacting and responding. And that those pilot teachers will report out this Friday with Mr. Miziak to kind of give a status update. So the goal is that each month or every 2 months, Mr. Miziak will come back to either the Teaching and Learning Committee or the full group to share updates and information similar to this report. Something that may impact our decision between Super Kids Wonders and HMH into reading is that on November 1st, the Department of Public Instruction will be releasing recommended curriculums for the science of reading that came out of the reading bill this past summer. We're confident that selections we chose here that are aligned to the science and reading may be some of those curriculums that are put forward, and timing is perfect. We're in a very good stage. Recently, I was in a meeting with a group of superintendents in districts that may have adopted programs last year or just 2 years ago. Now might have to flip ship because it doesn't align to what came out of the reading bill. And Mr. Miziak plans at the next Teaching and Learning Committee to give an overview of the reading bill and the impacts on local school districts, as well as decisions that you as a board will have to be making moving forward. But again, I believe our timing, and Mr. Miziak reiterated this with me on the phone call this weekend as we went over his report, that the timing is really good for us as a school district. There's also state funding that is applied to selection of new reading programs that align to what DPI will be releasing November 1st. So it might offset from our budget and utilize some of that state money, which is always good. So that's, any questions regarding the overview and timeline and process we're currently in?
Any comments, questions? Looks like no.
Right. Very thorough, and he's sticking to the timeline that was presented to the entire Teaching and Learning Committee as well. So like I said, either through the full board or Teaching and Learning, there'll be regular updates until a decision is brought to the committee and then to use a full board probably in December.
Very good, thank you. Moving on to item F, 2023 Summer School Report.
Yeah, part of running a summer school program is the accountability to report to your board how that did. And from DPI's standpoint to local control, you approved our summer school program, which seems like not too long ago, but it ran from June 12th through July 21st. And we were able to service at the elementary, or at the pre-K-8 level, 556 kids was our enrollment. You can see in the table in the report, it outlines the enrollment data over the last 4 years, which has been steady post-pandemic when a lot of kids didn't come to summer school, or it was a virtual option, that we've been hovering between 535 and 556. So that's great to see. Outlined are some of the programs. Specifically at the elementary level, a lot of the programming is exploratory and fun classes, and I do the air quotes on purpose. It's not remediation. But based on the last report I shared with you, one of the things that will be addressed with summer school programming that Mr. Miziak and his team are working on is the reading bill does outline the need for remedial work if you're not at grade level after second grade. So we will be starting a year probably early with some of those remediation classes. It doesn't have to be put into effect until I think the post 25-26 school year, but our recommendation would be to start to utilize aspects of the curriculum that we choose to move forward with as a school district in some of those intervention tools and capabilities for students that we have data on that support they are not at grade level post third grade. So that would be something in next year when Mr. Miziak brings a new course catalog and asks for approval, you would see a possible change, as well as continuing to survey and communicate with our community on scheduling what is most purposeful for the needs of our community when it comes to summer school. And then you can see also in the report an outline of the high school courses that are related to credit recovery, and we had 217 kids participate in courses for recovery of credit that they may have failed in either of our semesters the year prior to this past summer. And then a build out also is a budget summary for the board to see when it comes to cost, salary, benefits, time off, supplies, and then the total claimed instructional minutes that we support through the Department of Public Education for funding that comes back to us. So that report has been submitted and we're waiting for verification. That will most likely be a report out in either future teaching and learning committee or finance committee of what was the revenue stream from running summer school, which is going to be a positive given the number of instructional minutes we were able to claim and the courses that we provided. Any questions?
Very good. I will say in my tenure on the board, we've had major improvements in our summer school program, and I like that it continues to improve every year. Very good work. Thank you. Mr. Lowe.
I think, Chris, you just answered the question. In here it mentioned something about state revenue, but the number's not actually in the table here anywhere. So I thought I just missed it, or it was
No,
labeled
we
kind of
just
odd.
submitted, so until we have a finite number,
Right,
we have
know
an
what-
estimate, a guesstimate,
Yeah,
but
we don't know what it is yet.
correct.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments, questions? Okay, moving along. Item 4, citizen comments. We have Todd Schneider from the GEA. Come on down.
Good evening. My name is Todd Schneider. I'm a teacher here at the high school. I'm also a Germantown resident here representing the GEA. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, moving on to item 5, consent agenda. We'll read through these and get the information we need, and then we'll approve them. The August 28th, 2023 meeting minutes. Item B, approval of the teacher resignations. Mr. Nowak, do you want to cover those?
Sure. We have one resignation we brought forward the Personnel Committee. That was for Thomas Sala. He was hired in July and resigned just prior to the start of students coming. He has paid liquidated damages. We'd ask for official release from his contract.
Okay. Approval of teacher contracts. Mr. Nowak.
I'm sorry.
We have one new teacher contract?
Oh, yeah. No, we have 3 in consent agenda. Okay. They are for Morgan Workus, 1.0. This is a special education teacher at the high school. Because of the time of the year, this is a limited term contract for $42,355. Next is an Ian McGlivray, who's a special education teacher at Germantown High School. This is a 1.0 limited term contract for 185 days at $46,250. And finally, we have a contract for Lucas Halivasek. This is Kennedy Middle School language arts teacher who's currently not with us, but will be in October. This is, he's coming from out of state and is trying to close things there with another district. This is a 154-day contract at $54,305. We ask that you approve all three contracts.
Okay, thank you. And finally, approval of donations.
I think last month someone said we have to get the swim and dive team donation person. This month it's the GHS Palms. So we'd like to thank Tooth Dentistry for Kids, a $1,000 donation to GHS Choir. Tooth Dentistry for Kids, a $1,000 donation to GHS Band. Latitude Coffee, $250 to GHS Swim Team. Cousin Subs, $1,000 to GHS Palm. Big Sky Bar and Grill, $1,000 to GHS Palm. Affiliated Dermatologists, $500 to GHS Palm. Integrated Building Systems, $250 to GHS Palm. Hanson Soft Water Inc., another $250 to GHS Palm. Alpine Plywood Corporation, $500 to GHS Palm. Dental Professionals, $500 to GHS Palm. Master Spas of Wisconsin, $1,000 to GHS Palm. Charming Paws, $1,000 to GHS Palm. Homer's Towing and Service, $500 to the GHS Girls Golf Team. Special thank you to Rocket Aquatics, who's donated $1,632 towards an overall purchase of a microphone assembly and new touch pads and push buttons in the pool. The GHS Swim. MacArthur PTA for $3,812.11 for kindergarten, first, second, and third grade field trips. Ice Age Trail Alliance, $366.66 for transportation costs for a field trip for County Line students. And Walmart, a very generous donation of approximately $2,500 worth of school supplies that we distributed to students in need across the district. So we ask that you thank all of these generous donors and approve this over all of these donations this evening.
Outstanding, thank you so much. I'll entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
Move approval of consent agenda and thank the donors for their generosity.
Second. Who wants that? Take him up? Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes. Thank you. Item 6, Finance Committee, Mr. Lowe.
Yes, the Finance Committee met on September 11th at the district office. The meeting was about a half hour, and that was videoed. So if you want the whole thing, go to the video. Tonight, you're going to get the Cliff's Notes version. So for the full board item, 6A, we went through September's vouchers. Probably the only question that I remember was the paper purchase. We managed to purchase the whole lot of paper in one shot, and that was a semi-truckload, so we got a nice discount on that per Brittany. Next item was Brittany's variance report, and I think the big item here was what was listed as a surplus of $1,274,472. And on the surface, that looks like we're increasing fund balance by that amount. So I wanted to make sure of that, and we kind of went through it a little bit and confirmed that much of that dollar amount is assigned and restricted, so it's not available for pay raises for everyone in the district. Anyway, the assigned and restricted value or number is $1,119,208, or a difference of $155,246. So I believe it's this last number that actually is the increase in fund balance. So everyone's probably wondering, well, where did that $1.2 million number come from? It's just the number that was in the fund balance on August 1st. It's higher than it was last year, but much of that dollar amount is accounted for and it will be spent in the next school year. So I hope we're all good on that. Okay, the next item is full board item number 6B, and this is the County Line Boiler number 1 replacement. Most of the board was at the Finance Committee meeting, so we'll just go right into it. We have a motion to move forward with a positive recommendation to the full board to approve the replacement of the boiler number 1 at County Line Elementary using Butters Fetting Corp. in the amount not to exceed $53,975, which is to be funded out of the Capital Improvements Budget, Fund 41.
Thank you. That comes as a positive recommendation. Does not require a second. Any discussion, questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes.
Okay, and next item is the full board item 6C. This is the benefit consulting services, and it relates to R&R insurance. We'll just go right to the motion to bring forward with a positive recommendation to the Board of Education to approve a contract with R&R Insurance for benefits consultant services in an amount not to exceed $42,000 using general fund dollars.
Thank you. That also comes with a positive recommendation. Does not require a second. Any discussion, questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes.
And that's it for finance.
Thank you, Mr. Lowe. Moving on to item 7, Personnel Committee. Mr. Ebert.
Personnel Committee met September 11th. We discussed several topics, including many of which we covered in the consent agenda. We were provided a staffing update. I would recommend that you review that packet or the meeting itself in regards to the data that was involved in that. It appears as if there was some influx in staff movement consistent with that time of the year leading up to the school year. We'll continue to receive updated reports so we can monitor that process throughout the year and see if that evens out. We saw a report regarding the compensation study, which is ongoing, comparing us to several other districts in the area based off a metric outlined in that report. And we'll continue to receive reports regarding that as we go forward, hoping to bring some information and decisions to the board as a whole.
Okay. Thank you. Moving on to item 8, Policy Committee. Mr. Barney.
Yes, Policy Committee met on September 11th, where we discussed 8 revised policies, 3 new policies, and 6 policies that are being rescinded because of consolidation into the new policies. A few that I want to point out. Our policy on public expression of board members is being revised. So this policy calls out that the board president is the official spokesman for the board. It goes on to say that individual board members, if they're making statements on school matters to really anyone, local media, social media, to local state officials, or to members of the community, they should make it clear that their statement is by that individual board member and not necessarily the official statement of the board. Just to go further into that, I would suggest that all of you thoroughly read policy 0143.1 just so you're clear on what the policy states. Another one to highlight, our criminal history record check and employee self-reporting policy is being revised to provide greater clarity. We originally brought this forward several months ago. At committee level, we had discussions on things that we thought weren't real clear. Well, I think a lot of those things have been heard, and Neola has provided us an update with that clarity. Our policy on staff discipline is being revised. Language has been added with regard to investigations involving potential criminal conduct and the issuance of a Garrity warning in appropriate circumstances. And the last one I'll highlight is our public records policy that's also being revised. There is a new governing body as of March 2023 for public records. It is the Public Records Board, and this board has developed several retention schedules. Based on the administration's recommendation, the committee is recommending that the board adopt the retention schedule titled Wisconsin Public School District and Related Records General Records Schedule. So with that background, I will jump to item 8B on our agenda, which is modifications to District Policy 0100 through 9800.01. And the committee brings forward with a positive recommendation to the full board to approve the updates and modifications to District Policies 0100 through 9800.01.
All right, that comes with a positive recommendation, does not require a second. I'll open it up for discussion. Any questions?
I have one question. I'm looking at the wording here for the electoral process, and it references the first Tuesday in January for, turning in a declaration of candidacy. And then in the next paragraph, it mentions the second Friday preceding the deadline for filing ballot access documents. Is that second Friday? Is that in January also, or it doesn't really say what month it is? It's kind of wordy.
Yeah, let me pull up the policy here.
It's 40 of 116 pages in our.
I read that as yes, Michael, to your question, that it would be the second Friday preceding the deadline. The deadline is no later than 5 p.m. on the first Tuesday in January, from the sentence before.
Okay. Yeah, I read it a few times, and,
Sure.
it's like, okay, what are they trying to say here? I don't know, it might be nice, I wouldn't change it now, but it might be nice if it also said January, so it didn't leave any question as to what month we were talking, December, or when I first read it, it kind of sounded like December to me, and I'm like, I don't know why they would do that, but.
I think our public notice that we would put out, we would state that specific date, what the second Friday preceding by 5 p.m. would be for candidacy. So it doesn't spell it out, but obviously when we put a public notice out, it would state the date, which is whatever that second Friday would be on our website.
See, it's the second Friday preceding the deadline, so that doesn't seem like the second Friday of January to me.
End of December.
End of December, you're correct, yep.
So it is end of December?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, very good.
Melissa was taking great notes, as she's the one that will set those timetables for us as a school district.
Yeah, I mean, it might be something that ought to be added. It was just kind of worded crazy, I think.
Yeah, it gets tough when they're saying, well, like our elections are first Tuesday after the first Monday, or things like that.
Yeah.
You have to be very careful in how it's written.
There seems to be a little legal ease here, and everybody knows I'm an engineer, not a lawyer.
Okay, anyone else? All right, hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Moving on to item 9, new business. Discussion and action to approve educational interpreter job position reclassification. Mr. Nowak.
Thank you. Currently, educational interpreters in the Germantown School District are classified as members of the support staff. We are proposing transitioning them to being under teacher contracts, which is consistent with many other districts in the area, as well as the state. As background, the educational interpreter position is one of the harder to fill positions in the area. We are proposing this move for market purposes, as well as the fact that we're recognizing student needs are calling for more than the current 6.5 hours that our educational interpreters have. We're also looking to bring forward one of those positions this evening.
Okay, thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
The reclassification of educational interpreter job position as presented.
Second.
Mr. Brown, Mr. Barney, but the second. Any discussion? Mr. Ewert.
I would just like to thank the administration on their quick action. I know I kind of threw down a challenge in regards to this and the difficulty it was to fill it, but surrounding the supporting needs for our students in that area. So I think we're coming up with a solution, probably not normal to our district, but understanding the market has shifted. So I appreciate the swift action in that.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Moving on to item B, discussion and action to approve new teacher contract. Mr. Nowak.
Thank you. Relative to our last agenda topic, we are bringing forward a contract for an educational interpreter. This, because of the time of year, would be a limited term contract at 169 days. This is 1.0 FTE at the amount of $51,144 for Lindsay Bauer, educational interpreter at MacArthur Elementary School.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve contract as listed above.
Second.
Second on and Mr. Wallach with the second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Moving on to item C, discussion and action to approve overnight travel request, Germantown Pom and Dance Team. Well, it looks like they might be able to afford it. Mr. Dr. Reuter.
Now we know where that money's going, right? The Germantown Pom and Dance Team is qualified again this year to perform at Disney in Florida. They'll be performing in the Disney Parade, taking dance classes to excel their skills, along with many other competitive teams and dancers in the Midwest. The travel dates for said competition are February 15th, 2024 through February 19th, 2024. 23 students and 3 advisors will be attending, and all expenses will be covered by families of students. So they're seeking a motion this evening to approve the overnight travel request as presented.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve the overnight travel request as presented, and congratulations, ladies and coaches, on getting the invite. Second.
Wallach with the motion, Brown with the second. Any discussion? Congratulations, Poms. Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. I will entertain a motion to enter into closed session.
Nope.
Was that for you one?
Overnight travel
Oh.
request for choir.
Discussion and, item D, discussion and action to approve overnight travel request for Germantown High School Choir. Dr. Reuter.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. The Germantown High School Choir Director is requesting approval from the board this evening to travel with choir students to Camp Whitcomb Mason in Merton, Wisconsin, from November 4th through November 5th. The students will spend extended time in rehearsal learning Fauré's Requiem. The trip will consist of approximately 60 students with a chaperone ratio of 6-to-1. The club will pay for all transportation, lodging, and meals with a cost of $150 per student.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the overnight travel request as presented above.
Second.
Huber with the motion, Pollock with the second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Now can I do? I'll entertain a motion to enter into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute 19.851E to discuss negotiations for certified staff and 19.851D to consider strategy for crime detection and prevention.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Pollock with the motion, Mr. Ewert with the second. Roll call.
Medved?
Yes.
Ewert?
Yep.
Myself, yes. Loth?
Yes.
Pollock?
Yes.
Higginbotham?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.